I've never seen a yacht like this in my dreams. Sailing the seas in boats so grand, it seems. But we're just humble sailors, salt upon our cheeks, gold classic every day of the week.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Boat Fools Sailing. Thanks for tuning in last week and thanks for watching this week. So this week I was going to rant about the newest editions of Sail Magazine and the ridiculous boats therein, but I'm not. I'm going to talk about something more important. My friend lost his Ericson 35 sailboat last summer to a poor survey, which came back with some repairs that just weren't financially smart given the age of the boat. So the boat was donated to a good cause to be repaired by people learning how to work on boats. So he's in the market for a new used boat, and particularly he would love to find another Ericson. So he found another Ericson 35 and the survey came back poor, so he passed on it. And I found him another Ericson, but this one was an Ericson 32-3. And you know how in my Boat Fools Top 10 videos, when I note that a boat is in excellent condition or good condition, I always say trust but verify, always get a survey, and I usually have an eye roll video clip of a woman rolling her eyes like, yeah, right, it's in excellent condition. We found the poster child of deception, deceptive advertising, I should say, and it was off the charts bad. So, this is a cautionary tale and a buyer beware, and a perfect example of how advertisements are meant to draw you in, whether it's auto, real estate, sailboats, they're meant to hook you and draw you in. So when an ad says it's in excellent condition for a 40-year-old boat, obviously your eyes perk up and you're like, ooh, this could be the one. Let me be the first to tell you, trust but verify and get that survey. So, my buddy and I had high hopes for this boat. We drove an hour and a half to go see it, and because of that advertisement, it was a for sale by owner. A broker picked up the listing because he too thought it was in excellent shape. So we drove an hour and a half to meet with the broker and take a tour of the boat, and that's what you're going to see in this video today. Unfortunately, what we saw in the pictures in the ad and what we saw in real life could not have been further apart in terms of what we were seeing and what we were told we were going to see. And it was nothing short of fraud and fraudulent and a bunch of BS. And so this is a cautionary tale. Follow along. I think you're going to find it very interesting. And if you're looking at a boat that's reported to be in excellent condition, note that you need to get a survey, or at the very least bring along a buddy who can look at things while you're looking at other stuff or being courted by the broker or the seller. They're trying to sell you something. Remember that. So you need to have a second set of eyes. You need to have a survey. So come along. You're going to find this interesting. Okay, so here is the ad we found it on Craigslist for the Ericson 32-3 sloop. List price of $29,900, located in Portland, Maine, reported to be in excellent condition with only 279 engine hours. Three experienced sailor owners have owned her over the past, 40 years. She has been meticulously maintained and upgraded. Very fast, blah, 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 all sorts of glowing information about the boat here. And one would think, my God, this is the perfect boat. Newer sails, updated sails, engine upgrades. I'm not going to go through all this. Rigging upgrades, deck and infrastructure features and upgrades, all sorts of impressive updates and upgrades. So one would think that you are getting a turnkey boat. Instrument upgrades, electrical upgrades, and so on. So you read all that and you're like, wow, this boat has had everything done to it. It should be turnkey. And at that price of $29,900 for the boat that age seems like a reasonable deal. So we look closely at the pictures here. This one's a little bit fuzzy, but nonetheless, you can tell that she looks to be in decent shape. Here she is on her mooring. There she is rafted up. There's the owner presumably having a cocktail. Here she is under sail. Looks great. Here's her transom. Beautiful, nice bright work. Transom hung ladder. Here's some friends enjoying an evening on the boat. Here she is on the hard on jack stands. So everything seems to be hunky-dory. Helm station, auto helm. Here's your galley. Here's your companionway. There's your main salon looking back toward the galley. Here's your quarter berth. Here's your V berth. Here's your nav station, head, engine, which appears to be running. So that's always a good thing, right? But the one thing to note about these pictures when we looked back on what we were looking at is how closely cropped they are. You can't really see anything. So we drove an hour and a half to see this boat. And we were super psyched to see it. It was a beautiful sunny day. We're meeting the broker there down in Portland. And here we are on the dock. The boat's in the water. And we start to take a look at her. And right out of the gate, I noticed something immediately. Now, it's a little hard to see in this photo, so I'm going to show you another one. Right on the tip of your bow, you have this hairline crack that goes all the way around. And everything sort of looked a little bit askew, but ultimately we were told that this was superficial. But however, it did all of a sudden raise a red flag for me. And then when we got below, I started noticing a lot of water staining, and that also raised a red flag. Here we are looking into the bilge, blah, blah. And I'm going to go through these. Here we go. More water staining along the base of your settees in the main salon. It's on the floor. It's on the side. You know, not the end of the world, but then I started looking around the portholes and evidence of more water intrusion. Now, it's hard to find a boat that it does not have water staining around a port, but this had water staining above and below, which I found interesting. Again, not the end of the world, okay? But this was the first major thing that struck my attention. 288 engine hours on the meter, and I asked the broker if that was accurate, because the ad said 279, 288, same difference, right? No big deal. The broker said that apparently this engine hour meter stopped working years ago. So there was no accurate information on the engine hours. Okay, so that's deception number 2, really, right? The water staining and then the engine hours. It's reported to have 279, but this thing hasn't worked in years. That's not accurate. That is a lie. Then we get to, okay, here's your tramps, and that looks beautiful. And this is what I was talking about. The whole front end just kind of looked a little skewed, right? Just didn't look quite right to me. But a picture I really wanted to show everybody, and this was the kicker. While my buddy was talking to the broker about instruments and how things worked on the boat, I was opening up everything on the boat, and I found this in the bilge. This is looking down in the bilge. This is the drain hole between compartments in the bilge, and this is a stringer that appears to be cracked. And I noticed, too, on another one that, where is it? That another one also appeared to be a little bit janky in here, right? And I couldn't really get a close look at it and down here. So, but the kicker was this one. That was evidence of something weird happening to the boat. Okay, so at this point, we wrapped up our tour of the boat and we went and grabbed some lunch. And I showed my buddy the pictures that I took. And I said, I think this might be an issue. It looks like it might be a cracked stringer. It may be superficial. I don't know. So the pictures were then sent to the broker. Now remember, the broker had just picked up this listing, so he really can't be found at fault here because he didn't know what he didn't know. And he picked up the listing because of the glowing ad that was written about the boat and how it had been meticulously maintained and it was in excellent condition. And for all intent and purposes, it did look like that. Now, he didn't have the answer, so he forwarded the pictures to the owner, who then referred my buddy to the yard manager, who then told him that the boat would be coming out in a week's time and he should come down and take a look at it because the boat would be out of the water and they could see if there's any damage. And so, in fact, my buddy did go down a week later when the boat was hauled, and in fact, there was damage, and you're going to see that in a second. Now, this damage was not just superficial. At first, the yard manager thought it'd be about a $2,500 fix, but that number quickly ballooned to $10,000, okay? That is a significant fix, and that the keel would have to come off and it would have to be repaired, and that it would not be able to even happen until summer of 2024. So at this point, it's a no-go. It's a non-starter. The boat's been significantly damaged and it wasn't reported. So now nothing can be sort of trusted about what was said about the boat, right? So I went down myself because I was going through town and I videoed what you're about to see of the damaged keel. And it's clear that the ad was deceiving and that the seller was not forthright in everything that had happened to the boat. And there's still no clear answer as to when the grounding happened and how it happened and how bad it was. But we know for sure that it's going to cost around $10,000 to fix. All right, so take a look. So this is the underside of Bella Luna, the Ericson 323 that is now out of the water, and this is what caused the crack in the stringer. Pretty significant not to disclose that. And it's been tagged here for repair, which according to a yard guy is getting closer to a $10,000 fix on that. And not to have disclosed that is unbelievable. The last point I want to make about this absolutely deceptive ad is this picture right here from the listing. This was taken last year, obviously, because we were on the boat when it was in the water, and this ad was up before we went and saw it. And I took a screenshot of this picture because as I looked more closely at it, after knowing what we know about this boat, I noticed this. Clearly, this keel had been patched before, which simply means somebody knew something. Most likely, the owner. Everybody knew this boat had been in a grounding, and whether it had grounded again during this previous season or it had been grounded by the previous owner, it's unknown. But it's clearly known that everybody knew about it and nobody disclosed that fact to the buyer or put it in the listing. Now look, had everyone been transparent about this and had the yard been aware of it and had it in the queue to be cured and fixed by the previous owner and that the boat would be as good as new when it was done, maybe my buddy, the buyer, would have still been interested. But the lie called everything into question. So no longer is he interested in this boat for good reason, because we cannot believe anything that we're told about it, right? So the moral of the story: bring a second set of eyes, get a survey, especially if it says it's in excellent condition, and make sure you see the boat on the hard and in the water, because if you don't see it out of the water, you don't know what lies beneath. And lie is the operative word here. This boat had been in a grounding and a stringer had been cracked, maybe two, and it's going to be a $10,000 repair, and it was not disclosed. So buyer beware, trust nobody, verify everything. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Bodies like luxury, baggy eye, caviar, and catering. Sea legs get tired just from walking across the damn thing. We don't care. Catamaran goes anywhere. Boatful sailing in our modest vessels. Waves we wrestle, making all the sirens sing. Ocean air sailing there, we still enjoy the finer things. We don't care. The view is pretty good from here, and we'll always be sailors, sailors. Sail on the open sea. No gold or diamonds on our ships, just great camaraderie. And we'll always be sailors, sailors, here weathering the storm. While the wealthy count the treasures, we embrace the salty norm.